Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dougal, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to thank the organisers and Peter for the opportunity to talk today and being selected to present. Also for that little tidbit this morning, I didn't realise the underpinnings or the origin of the AFL game, so that was really interesting. Glad to learn something new every day, and especially thrilled to be here at the MCG, given Collingwood was down there last Friday. So. Go Pies. AspiraDAC is a company that we're founded to tackle head-on the challenge of removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So this is not just about emission avoidance, we're talking about carbon removal. So my slide, the first slide, is exactly the same as Guy Hudson's from Loam. Which one's the forward? Is it the middle one?
The green one.
The green one, yep. Okay. So I put these slides together just before the IPCC report came out, and it's not advancing at all. Green one. There we go. Sorry. So the chart on the right underpins the message that to actually get to net zero by 2050, it's not sufficient just to avoid or reduce emissions. We actually have to be removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and that's what that blue wedge is. The estimate on that chart was 10 gigatons by 2050. So that's $1 trillion annual US a year market, if you think about it. 10 gigatons, $100 a tonne. Carbon removal, you can do that two ways. You can do it using nature-based solutions that we heard about in the last concurrent section, or you can do it with industrial. It's basically building a machine to literally extract CO2 from the atmosphere for permanent storage, permanent removal. And there is a market now here for carbon removal. Companies like Microsoft are really interested in carbon removal for the ability to remove what they call legacy emissions. So they can go back to when Microsoft first started. The CO2 molecules from those activities are in the atmosphere, and what they're focusing on is removing those. So it's not just about carbon neutral today, it's about carbon neutral for the entire existence of a company. I'll just take you through a quick journey of where AspiraDAC started, and what we're heading towards is building the world's first solar-powered direct air capture project. The AspiraDAC parent company is called Corporate Carbon, and it was awarded a $4 million grant from the federal government in 2021. So that's what kicked off this whole concept. We did a global review of all of the direct air capture technologies, and we selected one that I'll talk to on the next slide. And we realised that this could be, it's not just about doing one project and then saying, okay, that was really interesting. It's about building a business in carbon removal, and that's what AspiraDAC is. So we established AspiraDAC in 2022. The key validation point for us was securing our first revenue with a sale to Frontier. So Frontier is a buying group for carbon removal, $925 million US. It's comprised of global e-commerce companies such as Stripe, Meta, Alphabet, Shopify, McKinsey. They're all on the journey of trying to pull through new technology, carbon removal technology, and bring that to the market and bring it to scale. And what Frontier really demonstrated for us is it wasn't just about first revenue, it was also about the validation. When you've got expert carbon removal procurement people looking across the whole planet to say who's doing what in carbon removal, to be selected by that team was really validating for this approach. Now, there's no point just capturing carbon and then venting it. The whole point to capture carbon is then to store it. And we've made commercial arrangements with storage partners here in Australia to basically pair energy supply with a capture technology and then for permanent removal. And that's typically in geological sequestration, so depleted oil and gas reservoirs or deep saline aquifers and so on. And so we've commenced construction of the first DAC modules, or direct air capture modules. So this is all about demonstrating the technology through a working module, reaching financial close on that first project, the world's first solar-powered direct air capture project. And we're already working on project number 2 as well, which is aiming for 5,000 tonnes with the first project 1 tonne a day. Who in the room's heard of Climeworks? Show of hands. Okay, so Climeworks are generally seen as one of the leaders in the direct air capture space because they've actually got a working project in Iceland. So we looked at Climeworks, we looked at Carbon Engineering, Global Thermostat, and a company here in Australia called Southern Green Gas. Two broad ways of extracting CO2 from the atmosphere. It's technically challenged whichever way you go because we're talking about dilute. So 400 parts per million, 0.04%. We're not going to a point source to capture CO2. However, we don't know how long the point sources are going to be there, but the CO2 resource in the atmosphere is there for a long time. So it's a liquid solvent approach, which is Carbon Engineering. They're building their first project in Texas. The solid sorbent approach, which is Climeworks, and also the company we chose to pair with, which was Southern Green Gas, and we established an exclusive license agreement with Southern Green Gas. And what we liked about this technology was it's modular, it's solar powered, and it's based on a new solid sorbent called a metal organic framework, or a MOF. And what that does is combine three disruptive features that we can see will bring down the cost of the direct air capture technology. Our frontier, to give you a feel for the cost, our frontier deal was at $1,000 a tonne. Everyone in direct air capture around the world is aiming for $100 a tonne. So it gives you a feel for the challenge that we've got ahead to bring the cost down. Or just to paint a different picture of how you build a carbon removal project of energy supply, capture tech and storage. Climeworks are in Iceland doing geothermal energy, their proprietary technology, and then into CarbFix, which is embedding the CO2 in basalt and carbonating for permanent removal. Our projects are using solar energy, using the Southern Green Gas proprietary technology, and then embedding that in geological sequestration. And our view was there's no point doing direct air capture if the energy used to do it is based on a grid that includes fossil fuels, because then you're just going around in circles. Just to give you a picture these are the modules that are currently under construction in Brisbane on the right-hand side at the ARM Hub, the Advanced Robotics for Manufacture Hub, and just a little picture of the gyroid, or the surface that's containing them off and absorbing the CO2. What we liked about this technology as well, it's the only one where you're combining the renewable energy supply and the capture technology into the one unit. Every other DEC technology I've come across, they're looking for an energy supply and looking for renewable energy supply and looking for 24/7 renewable energy supply at the same time that everyone else is doing that, and also everyone in green hydrogen is also looking for 24/7 renewable energy supply. 2 minutes. Okay, I will fast forward. So there's no getting away from the fact that direct air capture is is expensive at the moment. I talked about $1,000 a tonne trying to get to 100. This slide just summarises the idea that it feels to me like solar PV 20 years ago, where it was very expensive back then. Now it's the cheapest form of energy. How did we get there? Global deployment and mass market manufacture. And we believe using this modular approach, we can follow the same path. We've kicked off in Australia because to do a solar project for carbon removal, you need land, you need sun, and you need a sequestration site. Australia's blessed with all of those things. And the beauty of being effectively off-grid with our projects is we go straight to where the sequestration takes place. So there's no need for CO2 pipelines and no need for grid connection. We're effectively off-grid at the sequestration site itself. So that's the Australian picture. Looks pretty promising, at least to scale up over the next few years. We've also been approached for projects in the US, Middle East and Asia. Unique Australian team with AspiraDAC being a spin-out from Corporate Carbon. We've got a track record in innovation and delivery of new market solutions, partnering with Southern Green Gas and with the technology, the MOF technology being out of the University of Sydney. So what we're heading for this year is a Series A to help build out this journey. We're separating the idea of venture equity from infrastructure or project equity. We're seeing approaches, different investors are looking for different things. So we think we'll separately raise for each of the projects, and we can offer commercial returns in those projects. And then we're also seeing interest from corporate offtake for adding even just a little slice of carbon removal into their carbon offset or carbon net zero commitments to include some new and innovative technology as part of the portfolio of reaching net zero. I'll leave it for questions. Thank you.